You know you're happy when you're present in the moment, when you're aware of the people you're with and the energy that's around you, and you're feeling you can taste your food and you can smell the air and you can not be hooked into what happened yesterday or future tripping on what's coming. But you're just present in the moment.
Born in 92 on the block with the Sharks. Come from a different cloth, y'all would get ripped apart. You want it diamond, then you gotta get it in the dark. We dropping nuggets like Carmelo went to Rucker Park. Now we eating from state to state, we scrape the plate. I put my eggs in a basket, took a leap of faith. I took a chance, now we grow and see the impact. Decoding Success with special guests, now let's bring Matt.
Gabby, welcome to Decoding Success. I was actually nervous for this interview. I have never really been nervous ever. 200 plus episodes. I just feel like there's so much to dive into here. So I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, you can't be nervous because there's a little kitten with us now. she's like, don't be nervous.
I love it.
See her face? Can you see her face? Yeah. She likes to join me sometimes. Yeah, so hopefully she makes you less nervous. But don't be nervous. I'm like the most chill person you could ever interview. Here we are.
No. I'm excited. That's what it is. It's an excitement. But I actually want to start this off in a rather unconventional way. I've really never done this, but from knowing your work, your books, hearing you on other podcasts, so on and so forth, I'm just really curious to learn what's a question that you wish more people would ask you, and how would you answer that?
What a nice question. What would I wish more people would ask me? I would like to have people ask me more about what my spiritual life is like.
And what is it like?
What it means to have a spiritual life. Well, it's really synchronistic and it's really powerful and profound. And it feels like I live in a flow state and things are unfolding naturally. And when they're not, it's because it's not supposed to. And it's faithful and steady. And it's sort of buzzy. It feels like there's this like sense of buzziness around me, like, ooh, things are happening, get excited. And it's not just about things happening. It's just sort of like even natural moments of synchronicity. And I'm kind of living in it at the moment with something specific, and it just feels really good.
Now, when you say synchronistic, what do you mean by that? Is it like you're looking at the clock and seeing 11:11, or is it just like things clicking in your life? Maybe both?
All of the above. Yeah. And I think, there's something recent that I'm showing up for. And I said, I'm not going to do this unless it's easy. It's kind of what I said to the universe. Like, I'm not going to do it unless it's easy. And so that was going to be an answer. If it's not easy, it's not going to happen. Right. And it's been really easy. And it's sort of just flowing naturally. And I feel that connection. And that's so nice because it's such an implication that I'm on the right track.
That is a beautiful thing. Now, I'm going to actually flip the table here a little bit. I asked you what's a question you wished more people would ask you, but I'm curious to learn, what do you think is a question more people should ask themselves when they start to pursue the healing work that you talk about, whether that be healing from traumas or programming or conditioning, so on and so forth?
I think that people should start asking themselves, what am I running from?
Okay.
What impermissible feelings and experiences from my past am I running from? Because all of our coping mechanisms and addictive patterns and fear-based stories are just a form of running from impermissible feelings.
How do you know if you're running from something? Because I mean, I'm 29 now, and I only started to explore the inner depths of not being happy and miserable at times at 27. I didn't know I was running. I was so numb. So what's your advice to, I guess, bring awareness to that?
What a beautiful way to describe that you were so numb, right? So many people are so unaware that they're running, but they are aware that they have bad habits, or they are aware that they have physical pain, or that they're not sleeping well, or that they might be depressed or anxious or addicted or reactive. So all of the above are a sign you're running.
Right. Yeah. I think personally, I mean, does it need to be a 2x4 in the face type of moment for you to wake up?
No, but often that's an easier way to wake up. I know that sounds crazy, but
Yeah.
it's like when the shit hits the fan, as Rumi said, the wound is the place where the light enters you.
Mm.
So that can be a very empowering moment in time where you feel like, well, I'm at my bottom. What else is left? And for me, that was my experience. I was 25 when I hit a really big bottom in my life. I got hit bottom from cocaine addiction, and I got sober at that time. And that was the catalyst for the rest of my life. And any other bottom I've hit in my life since then, and there's been several, have all been really big up-leveling moments for me.
Now, do you mind talking about that cocaine? Do you mind if we pursue that?
Sure, why not?
I'm just curious, was your dabbling with coke, was that something that you were just doing for fun at first, or was it something more?
Yes, I think it started off as something fun. And then at the time I started my first company when I was 21. It was a PR business that represented nightclubs, really at around 20. And 21, it was a business, but I started promoting parties at 20. And then by the time I was 25, I was deep in that world of party scene, all night out. And a lot of that definitely included cocaine. And so there's two sides of it. One, I was just searching a high, right? And I was following the high wherever it went. And two, it was another form of running, but I had no idea what I was running from. And I didn't really even see it as a form of running. I just at first recognized, oh, I'm addicted to a drug. But when you get clean and sober, that's when you begin to start looking at, well, why did I become addicted in the first place?
Mm. I also didn't know about the nightlife stuff. We have that in common. I was in New York City nightlife for 7 years. That's
well, you're a lot younger than I am, so I missed you by a decade.
No, it's like such a fast-paced life, so I can understand how something like that creeps up. Plus, I mean, I had my own shit, right? Like I would drive drunk every single Friday and Saturday night.
Dude, I was driving around New York City in this white beat up Corolla, up and down 7th Avenue, up to like the 10th Avenue bars and whatever in the meatpacking, and no, even further up. And I would drive around and like do cocaine in the car. Like, I don't know if I should be saying that publicly now, but like I was a mess. I was a total mess. And I was 21 years old and just not in a good place.
Do you ever think about how you survived that, right? So do you ever look at it and be like, holy shit, like as reckless and wild as I was, I survived that. That means I have a purpose here. Do you ever think like that?
Yeah. In the beginning of my new book, Happy Days, The Guided Path from Trauma to Profound Freedom and Inner Peace. And I have to say the full title because I want people to know what it is, what the promise is. When I opened the book where I'm in that white beat up Corolla and I'm pressing rewind on my cassette tape. That is telling you how much of an age difference we have. And I'm pressing rewind on that cassette tape over and over. And it's a tape of a psychic reading that this psychic had given me 5 or 6 months earlier. And I hear her voice and she says, "You're struggling with drugs and alcohol." And I respond, "It's not that bad." And she says, "You have 2 choices in this lifetime. You can choose to get clean and make a major impact on the world, or you can choose to go down this road of drugs and alcohol and it'll be very destructive." And I listened to it over and over and over and over and over. And it would take me several months after that period of my life to actually get sober, but I didn't know what it would be to make a major impact on the world, but I knew that there was a sense within me that there was so much more. And so, yes, surviving addiction, I think, is no accident. That was God's plan for me. But we all do have free will in our life, so we can choose. Am I going to clean up or am I going to keep going?
Absolutely. Now you mentioned God and you also mentioned spirituality before. I'm just curious to learn for you personally, like where do the two coincide? Do they run on a parallel track? Because some people, and I respect everyone's perspective on this, some people, when they say spirituality, they don't refer to God at all. Like it's kind of just greater power.
Yeah, I don't like to get too hung up about semantics. So
Mm,
a higher power of your own understanding, as they say in the 12 steps, is such a generous way of inviting people into this conversation. And maybe a higher power for you is a religious God, or maybe it's the universe, or maybe it's a spiritual connection to an ancestor, or, it doesn't matter. And I don't care what you call it. I just pray that people can call upon it, whatever it may be for them, because having a awareness and a presence of a higher power in your life is the most elevating and freeing and supportive relationship you can have.
mm. I actually want to touch on the book. I know that you just brought it up, Happy Days. And when I read the title and I was going through it, I actually said to myself, and I asked myself, I'm like, how do you know when you're happy?
Hmm.
And I really paused on that and I said, holy shit, like, how do I know when I'm happy and when I'm not? Because more so, I mean, I could tell you when I'm not happy, right? So I'm curious, for someone listening to this, what's your advice for them to identify when it is they are happy? Like, how do you know when you're actually happy?
You know you're happy when you're present in the moment, when you're aware of the people you're with and the energy that's around you, and you're feeling, you can taste your food, and you can smell the air, and you can not be hooked into what happened yesterday or future tripping on what's coming, but you're just present in the moment,
That is a beautiful
at
place to
ease.
be. Yeah, without a doubt. Now, when you start to pursue, and maybe it's different for you, but when I started to pursue healing stuff from my childhood, when I started to pursue, I mean, big T's, little T traumas, like all of that stuff, I can't say that my days were happy. In fact,
No.
yeah, like not at all. And just not reliving it, but revisiting what I experienced personally really sucks. So I'm curious to, I guess, get some advice for the people that are tuned in to embrace that aspect of the journey to get to happier days, without being so future focused, like you were just mentioning.
Yeah, it's a beautiful question. And in my book, I talk about big T trauma and remembering big T trauma. When I was 36, I remembered having an experience of being abused as a child, and not getting all the full details, but being catapulted back into that experience. And the years in between 2016 to the present, I've been on a really devotional journey of undoing that trauma that really fucked up my life in many ways, right? And this book is the journey, shares the journey. And to your point, the beginning of that journey fucking sucks, right? Like you are facing impermissible feelings. You're living in a state of terror. It's really scary. But what I say to my readers is it's a lot more scary to keep hiding, because I'd so much rather somebody get to this stuff. I have a friend in my life who's 79 and he's just decided to go to treatment for trauma. And he's like, am I too old for this? I said, never. No. My
Mm,
only regret is that you didn't get it sooner. But now go get it done. Go,
right.
go, go get closer to freedom.
Now, from someone in your perspective or in your shoes where you've done a lot of this work on yourself, and when did you said it started at 25, correct?
It all started really when I was 25 and got sober, and that began the journey. But I didn't know that there was big T trauma there, because I had dissociated from it. So it was in my unconscious awareness, but not in my conscious awareness.
Right.
And I didn't know that until I had a dream at 36 and the memory came back to me. And so it was when I became 36 that I started to do a lot of deep dive trauma recovery, spiritually and therapeutically. And that's what I write about, particularly in this book.
Now, how do you personally buy into just like knowing that this work never ends? Like, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say off yourself, right? God forbid, knock on wood. But like, sometimes it just kind of like, when I think about that, at least it kind of sucks. It's just like, damn, like this work is continuous.
Mm, the work's continuous, but the pain is not.
Okay. Okay. So,
So the more you show up for yourself, the less suffering you have.
mm,
And so keep showing up and you have less and less and less suffering. And there is total freedom on the other side. And I'm living in freedom and inner peace right now. Do I still have therapy every Wednesday? Do I still have 12-step meetings? Do I still have a sponsor? Yes. But I feel fucking awesome.
What
And
does
they say in
freedom
the
look
12
for you?
steps, like when things get good, work your program more, right? So like, don't stop. Don't ever stop. Keep shining the crystal. But there is freedom on the other side. And I can promise you that.
Now, do they say to not stop the work when things get good because of maybe self-sabotage or?
Self-sabotage, falling back into old patterns, all of the above. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Forgetting where you came from,
Yeah, absolutely. If people pick up this book, I know we only have a couple more minutes here, but if people pick up this book after listening to this, if they could only take one thing away from it, what would you want that thing to be?
You have the power within you to feel safe.
You have the power within you to feel safe, but what happens if they feel powerless before they start this journey?
Open the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Okay.
Yeah, because the path is laid before them. So here's how it works. So you feel powerless, but you want to grow. You want to heal. You want to learn how to self-soothe. You don't want to be stuck in that fear cycle anymore. You're listening to us and you're still listening, 20 minutes in. So there's a desire. So whether it's my book or somebody else's, but in this instance, we're talking about Happy Days. So you have a spark of interest. Go to Amazon and you listen to that book or read that book and just keep reading. Because so I believe that our higher power works through podcasts, works through books, works through friends, works through something they might hear you say. So if someone's still listening, this is a sign that there's a desire to heal and that there's direction in front of them. The problem often is that people are like, I need help. I want a miracle. I want to feel better. Then they get to the podcast, they hear about it, the author, the teacher, whoever it is, but they don't fucking do anything with it.
Why do people stay away from doing that work?
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's terrifying, but I really believe it's far more terrifying to live in that hidden state.
So let me ask you this question, Gabby. I've asked this twice on the podcast before, and I've had one answer one way, another answer another way, but I'm curious to learn, do you think everyone is meant to actually heal?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Why?
I think that we all have the same love and the same core innocence within us. But we all have experienced different forms of trauma that have separated us from that presence of love.
Okay.
And we all can make the decision in life to keep running from that presence or to return to it. And if you choose to return, then everything you need to get there will be presented to you. And then the next step is to choose to show up for what is presented so that you can heal.
Right. So everyone has the ability to heal without a doubt. I agree with that. I just, from personal experience, like I look at my parents, right? They're 50 something, 60.
Oh, not everyone will heal. Not everyone will heal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just look at the people in my life and I'm like, listen, you know what you have to do. Like,
I'm not going to do it.
Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Whether that be an ex-girlfriend, parents, friends. I'm just like, all right, but I appreciate that perspective because I do believe that everyone has the ability to do so. It's just a matter of them actually doing it.
That's right.
Yeah. I love that. If you can only be remembered, now you crush everything you want to do in life, write as many books, hop on as many podcasts, as many stages, but you could only be remembered for one piece of advice. What would that be?
She made me feel good. I felt good in her presence.
So you're referring to people walking away
and saying, in her presence, I felt good. I felt seen. I felt soothed.
What does that take from you? I could assume vulnerability, you being raw, as you're mentioning, just feeling seen and stuff. But what does that take from you to actually be able to allow someone to feel that?
I have to feel that first.
Do you feel that?
Fuck yeah.
I love that. How long did it take for you to get there, though?
42 years.
You do. No. Listen, I'm not looking for brownie points. You don't look 42 if you're telling me that's what your age is. So we could also go into the beauty secrets because.
Thank you. I have to thank you so much because, you turn 40 and you're like, oh, I'm still kind of young. And then you start to like get into your early 40s and and like I did this talk last night with this beautiful comedian. You probably know her, Lily Singh. And
Yes.
I held a talk for her book, and she kept being like, well, when you get older, guys, you're going to learn this, because she's a really young audience, you know? And I was like, Lily, I'm like, you're 33, lady. Like, I was like, stop talking about me old. um, but, but yeah, I mean, I think that you do look, I've been clean and sober 16 years. So that definitely added years to my life.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
yeah. Added a lot of good looking skin, you know, things
For
are better
sure.
when you take care of yourself. That's for sure.
Do you feel like life is kind of just starting for you at this point now?
Yeah, you know, I interview a lot of people who are growing our business really rapidly, and um, you know, people are like, "Wow, you've done so much, and this business is, you know, business is great. You've done so much." And I'm like, I don't even think we've scratched the surface. Like, I think we're just starting what we're doing here. That's professionally, and personally, yeah, I have a 3-year-old, so I have a lot of days ahead of me as a parent and a wife, and yeah,
What has your 3-year-old taught you?
pretty much every important lesson I've ever needed to learn. He's taught me presence. He's taught me fun. He's taught me focus. He's taught me a deep empathy and compassion. And he's taught me how to really hold space for big emotions with just so much love and compassion and care, and to put emotions first. Um, he's obviously taught me how to be a mother.
I love that. Now, when it comes to your personal healing journey, how do you feel like that's impacted you in business? Because I could relate to that question in so many ways, being that I wouldn't be able to accomplish many things because I didn't think I deserved it. Right. So even if I
Mm,
did get it, I lost it. So I'm just curious, do you have anything like
mm.
that in your life?
Yeah, for me, it wasn't that I didn't think I deserved. I always believed in my work, and I believed in my ability to really show up. So manifesting career successes and things wasn't the issue. For me, it was really leadership, because I had to learn how to be a powerful leader for my own internal system and my own, all the parts of who I am, before I could properly lead a team. And
Mhm.
so, to most properly answer that question, I would say go. I won't really suggest this, but go ask my team from 4 years ago what I was like as a leader, and ask my team now what I'm like as a leader. And my team from 4 years ago would, I think, all say, she's a really good person, and we believed in what she's doing, but working for her was really difficult because I was really triggered all the time. I was, living with unresolved trauma and PTSD, and leading a team from a very childlike part, a very scared place. Whereas now, as a result of my recovery, I am the adult in the room. We all are adults. And I'm attracting adults. I'm attracting, really smart people that just want to do good work and want to solve interesting problems. And I have really strong boundaries, and I have a lot of respect for my team, and I practice radical honesty and nonviolent communication and internal family systems therapy with my team, and that's 4 years new, 3 years, really 3 years new, 2.5 years new, really the beginning of COVID. We really made some changes. And so I have a team today that respects me and feels very safe with me. And I don't think that was always the case.
What does it take to bring conscious leadership into business like that? Because I mean, I've worked for people in the past where, I mean, it's almost hard to expect a boss per se to get to know someone on that level, right? Like, I never had a boss that was like, Matt, let's sit down and let's talk about what you've been through in life so I know how to relate and know how to lead you.
I don't really know that that's what's necessary, because you want to have boundaries with your boss and your employees and whoever. And you don't necessarily need to be like, here's every detail of my life. But if you want the leadership to have done their own inner work, because
Mm.
when I have the awareness of all the parts of who I am, and I can have a strong foundation of inner leadership. So I have the foundation of this compassion for myself and curiosity and calmness, and I live from that place, and then I'll lead from that place. And the more I lead from that place, the less triggered and activated the people around me will be. So it's not my job to go fix all their triggers. They can go read my books, but it's my job to be a presence that's safe and secure and soothing and and, really be curious and compassionate towards these people that I work with so that they can feel safe in my presence so that they can do creative work. That safety also involves truth telling. It's not always easy, but I have to tell the truth. I practice radical honesty. And so but it comes from my relationship to myself. So, and then also we attract our likeness. So I've done a lot of work on myself. So I've attracted a team of extraordinarily healthy people.
Right.
Not everyone's got their shit, but like I've attracted adults that want to do good, cool work.
I love that. I love that. I know I only got you for a couple more minutes, so I'm going to let everyone know that book, socials, website, all of that good stuff is in the show notes of this. But do you have anything else going on that we should make people aware of?
I mean, I have so much going on, man, but I think right now my biggest prayer is that someone pick up this book and follow the guidance. Happy days. Because this book changes you on a molecular level. I can promise that.
I love that. Well, Gabby, I want to make sure I'm getting you out of here on time. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be able to amplify your message. Definitely appreciate it.
You're so lovely, and you're such a great interviewer, and it's wonderful to have connected with you like this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Born in 92 on the block with the Sharks. Come from a different cloth, y'all would get ripped apart. You want it diamond, then you gotta get it in the dark. We dropping nuggets like Carmelo